now have discussion on item J. Do we have public comments? Public comments on item J, Marty Fernandez, followed by Ralph Hernandez.
Council, I implore you to vote down these contracts. You are supposed to represent the citizens of Antioch, not the unions, not the employees, but the citizens. Your own finance director says that we are headed for bankruptcy in a couple of years. This will propel us into bankruptcy. A few years ago, one of the smartest men I know, Councilman Gary Adopian, said during the contract negotiations that wages should be frozen, and let's take a good look at the big picture. This is truer now than it ever was. I beg the five of you to freeze wages and hiring and take a good long look at the finances and the future of this city. This is probably the most important vote this council will ever take. If you want Measure C extended, the city has to tighten its belt and not give away the farm and hope for the best. 2 years ago, we got Measure O passed with contributions under $15,000 against the plan spending $200,000 because it was the right thing to do. If you approve this ridiculous contract, I don't care how much the union money put up, Measure C will not be extended. Because the voters of Antioch are not stupid and they are watching you, and no amount of money or signs will convince them to give you more money. Start with a 1-year contract and a 2% raise for everyone if you have to give them, and see where you're at financially, and then do another 1-year contract until the city is on stable ground. CalPERS is about to hit you with a huge increase in contributions because of the losses that they've incurred. We don't even pay what we need to pay now. We are in debt to CalPERS for millions. To council members who previously voted for this contract, you now have had time to read it and understand what you voted for. You can change your vote and have the respect of the citizens of Antioch. It's okay to make a mistake if you correct it. Don't let your mouths write a check that your buttocks can't cash. Thank you.
Thank you. Ralph Hernandez.
Thank you. I think you need to put off approval of this. You need to really look at where is the money at? Where are you going to have the money? How are you going to pay for these things? These are not stable expenditures. These are increases that are being proposed and negotiated. You cannot continue to spend and expect good results as well as from the public. The city owes over $100 million in pension debt alone. You know, had the city not misused and misbudgeted their monies long ago, and they had actually done the right thing, the city council basically are the decision makers. If the councils had not done so, we wouldn't be in this predicament. Now, as an example, Antioch is, according to the FBI reports, it is the 12th most dangerous city in Northern California. We didn't just get there by giving out raises and increases in benefits. It's because city councils did not do the right thing with the monies they got. We looked at it when I was on the council, and we decided that 1.2 officers per 1,000 population would provide the adequate amount of public safety to our community. Our community is the 12th most dangerous in Northern California, according to the FBI and their reports. Doesn't that shock you? Doesn't that make you want to spend the money more on public safety versus wages and benefit increases across the board. You need basically to take a second look at all of these contracts. Can you afford it? Well, according to city finance and a lot of the records that have come out, you're headed toward bankruptcy. So if you're headed toward bankruptcy, do you add more debt? Is that really the smart thing for you up there to do? I don't think you're stupid up there. I just think that you need to take a new, longer term look at all of these contracts. You need to really discuss the implications and the consequences with the employee groups and say, we cannot afford these things. Also, the city of Antioch needs to quit comparing salaries and benefits and whatnots with other communities, especially in Contra Costa County. The ability to pay for these things is not equal to the other communities. There was a grand jury report a few years back that basically said that, where they suggested you should also look into contracting certain city services in order to save money. So that's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments on this? There are not. This is closed to the public at this point. It is now before council. Do we have any council comments or questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Council Member Tiscarino.
I do appreciate comments from the public. I've been hearing similar complaints and comments throughout my residency here in the city of Antioch. You know, it's there's a process that's got to be done. You know, city of Antioch has to bargain with their employees, whether it's the police department or their public works department. But we have to bargain in good faith with our employees, and we believe we've done so. Whether we agree or disagree, that process is going to continue to go on for years to come, and just like the past. So, in my opinion, the process was done. All parties negotiated in good faith. We believe that, you know, in my opinion, that we stayed within a budget that was controllable. So I have no qualms about working with our police department and our other workers that to provide the great services here in the city of Antioch. You know, it's been mentioned. You know, you hear one part that you know we have the highest crime in California, one of the 12 major cities that have a major crime, but we don't have the police force to take care of the situation out there. We're not spending the right resources. You know, I think we are doing the right thing. We have one of the best police forces, I believe, in the state of California, and they're doing it, you know, and they're risking their lives, and they're not making a whole lot of money. You know, you start seeing a lot of these wages, I think it's due because we are understaffed, and a lot of these folks are working overtime and risking their lives just to provide a safe city out here. So, you know, I give it to our employees that are providing the service here, and you know, whether some people believe that they deserve or earn what they earn, I believe that they do, and I do believe in the bargaining process. You know, we have to do it every 3 years, or depending on what the council and the bargaining teams determine the time and length of a contract. But that process has to be completed, has to be done, and has to be done in good faith by both sides. And I believe all bargaining units in the city of Antioch have done that. I think the city has listened and provided all the information to the council so we can make a good decision based on the information that we've gotten. And I was comfortable when we were able to approve the MOUs for all the bargaining units. So I continue to believe that, and I want to move forward once we have our conversations to move forward with this motion to approve.
Thank you. Other council member comments? Council Member Ogerchuk.
I too feel strongly in the process that we've done in negotiating these contracts. We did do it in good faith. We did listen to all parties. I believe we negotiated fairly for the city. I believe the city's moving in a very positive direction. I see a lot of change in the city, and I see a lot of positive change. So therefore, I'm pleased with the way this is going. I understand that there's a lot of people that's not, but I'm pleased with this process. Thank you.
Other comments? Councilmember Thorpe.
I'll just say the mayor and I were not part of the negotiations, so it wouldn't be. I can give my perspective, but I understand that what Councilmember Toscarino and Councilwoman Orgichuk are saying. But I did read through these MOUs, and I did read through the tentative agreements, and I had a lot of back and forth with Nikki here. And I'll just say that I'll personally be abstaining from this vote because I don't think it's right for me, for someone who is not part of these negotiations and part of closed sessions, to have that kind of opinion. But having read this, I have to say that Measure C does expire in 3 years. There is no money to fund these beyond 3 years, so that is very, very, very concerning to me. We've gone back and forth on the new educational benefit, which goes from about roughly $2,500 annually to now 5% on your base salary. So that's concerning to me. There's a whole lot of things that were concerning to me, and I would have a difficult time voting for it if I was in the position to do so. So those are the only comments that I would make.
I will comment that coming in, I did a lot of due diligence into what these contracts were and what we as a council had the opportunity to do. I sat down with our city attorney and I asked him, when is this a binding contract? Is this a binding contract of the tentative agreement, or is this a binding contract of the MOU? And our city attorney said that case law in 2012 switched the binding contract to the tentative agreement. That basically when our council made the tentative agreement approval, that according to the state of California, that was a binding contract. I then went to outside counsel and asked for a second opinion and received the same response, that the binding contract is at the time of the tentative agreement, that the MOU process we're doing tonight is more symbolic than it is binding. And if we were to push for and get 3 votes to not pass this MOU, we would open ourselves up as a city to huge litigation where we do not have case law behind us, and we would lose when it all came to. As far as it goes, looking at the contracts as such, these are contracts that are going to hurt us going forward. Those that see them as being financially binding to us as a city, they are tying in our hands. We are going to be in a rough place, and in 3 years, if Measure C does not pass, we will not be able to afford these contracts, at which point we will have to sit down and go through. But I want you to understand that I took this very seriously. I looked into it. I spoke to as many people as I could to figure out exactly what we could do. And based on that, I was not a part of the negotiation process. So therefore, I too will be abstaining this evening. But from that standpoint, even if we wanted to, we could not shut this down. So our police officers are fine men and women that are trying their best to protect our city, and I thank them for that. If there's nothing further, I will look for a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'll go ahead and recommend that the City Council adopt the following resolutions. Number 1, approving the memorandum of understanding between the City of Antioch and the Antioch Police Officers Association. And number 2, approving the memorandum of understanding between the City of Antioch and Operating Engineers Local 3. And number 3, approving the memorandum of understanding MOU between the City of Antioch and Management Unit. And number 4, approving the memorandum of understanding between the City of Antioch and Confidential Unit. And number 5, approving the memorandum of understanding between the City of Antioch and the Antioch Police Sworn Management Association. And number 6, acknowledgement of the city manager and public employees representative execution of the MOUs.
We have a motion by Councilmember Tiscarino. Do we have a second? We have a second by Councilmember Wilson. We will call to a vote.
We have 3 affirmative votes. Councilmember or Mayor Pro Tem Thorpe and Mayor Wright have abstained.
Motion passes. Moving then